Hey, it's Don Skaggs with Empowered Inventing, the one place where we try to help you help other people by taking your great innovation, the right opportunity, mixing it with sound wisdom to help you turn them into real things like products and businesses. Now today, I want to talk to you about Kickstarter campaigns. And if you don't know what a Kickstarter campaign is, it's just the coolest way that you can find out if you have a market. And you can actually put together what's called a Kickstarter campaign. And this is a thing you put on the Kickstarter site, and it says, okay, here's what I have, here's the idea. I can make X number of these, but I need $10,000 to do it. I need $1,000 to do it. I need $5,000 to do it. And basically you have backers and you have rewards, and it ends up being kind of like pre-orders. And so you've got people pre-ordering these things. They're giving you the money up front so you can make them and ship them to them and have happy customers and make money and get started. That's why they call it Kickstarter. You're kickstarting your idea, kickstarting your business. And a lot of great people I have known have done really well on Kickstarter. I have dealt with Kickstarter. I've had, like I've always said, I've had successes and I've had failures in business, and I had a Kickstarter that was a failure. But I learned from that failure, and that's what you have to do when you have a fail. You pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you figure out what went wrong and how can I fix it for the next one. And actually I'm working with a group right now for a new Kickstarter. So it's real exciting, a lot of fun, and I'm taking what I learned from the last one and trying to apply it to help them. So anyway, what I want to really focus in on though is 5 must-haves that you have to have before you consider doing a Kickstarter campaign. 5 things you got to have together. 5 things before you hit that go button, before you do it, you've got to have them in place. Now the first thing is kind of basic, really. It's be sure that you have a good idea for, or that is appropriate for, Kickstarter. If you're selling to a B2B or business to business niche industry, if you're selling like I did in my business, we sold specialty products to a certain segment of the medical laboratory and hospitals and labs, Kickstarter is not the place for you. If you're selling a tool that's used on a construction site, then it's probably not going to be your fit. Kickstarter is not where those people go. You've got to go sell it where the people that's going to buy it are going to live and going to see it, and that's where they're going to be. And Kickstarter is just not that for B2B niche industries. Now, there are on Kickstarter though a lot of tech savvy early adopters. And these are those people, they want to be the first one to buy this really cool new thing that does this. So a lot of it's sort of consumer products, and really the best way to kind of understand Kickstarter and the Kickstarter campaign and whether your idea is appropriate, or maybe that you could come up with a good idea that would be appropriate for a Kickstarter campaign, is to get on Kickstarter. Kickstarter.com is their website, and just look at other winning campaigns. You can look at winning campaigns, you can look at losing campaigns, but look at the winners, see what the winners are doing. Look at the losers too, but see what maybe they did wrong, maybe where they fell short. You can kind of see, if you're looking at both, you can kind of see that contrast between the two. So anyway, just be sure and do that. Look at those campaigns, study those campaigns, and see what they did right, see what they did wrong, and kind of figure, oh, well, they sold a product that was sort of in this market. And you see all these different categories on Kickstarter too. They'll have everything from I don't know, whether they're doing a movie or they're doing some kind of entertainment thing, to gadgets, to design items. There's a lot of different kinds of categories too, and they take a very, very broad view of it. It's not just people with gadgets. It's kind of like what I say about inventors. I treat inventing with a very, very broad brush. You could have an idea for a business, for a gadget, for a product, or you could have an idea for a business. You're still inventing something. You've come up with something new, a new twist on something, and you're doing a startup, or you're doing a product, or you're doing both. So anyway, be sure you've got the right idea. Make sure it's the right fit for Kickstarter. It's very important. Now the other thing is be sure that you have a good IP strategy. And by IP, I'm talking about intellectual property. And now I'm not saying to rush out before you even think about doing a Kickstarter and go see an attorney and hand him $10,000 and have him go make you a patent. No, I'm not saying that at all. If you've watched any of my other videos, if you've heard anything else that we've taught here, you know that is not what we tell you to do. But if it's successful, and I always just sort of hesitate to even mention this because inventors and entrepreneurs tend to be a little paranoid, tend to want to just say, oh, I'm afraid somebody's going to steal this idea, and they want to kind of hide it away, hide it under a bushel, and not let anybody know about it. Well, on Kickstarter, you're letting everybody know about it. But there's strategies you can use to protect yourself. So now here's the thing. I've always said this, and there's probably somewhere out there is going to point out that this is not absolutely the case every time. But for the most case, in my experience, I have never had an idea. And I've had a lot of ideas, a lot of products that have gone to business, that have become successful products in the marketplace. I have never had an idea that was stolen until it started making money. Now, when it started making money and it was out there on the shelf and it was out there dancing on the floor, then everybody was wanting to jump in on that thing. Then everybody wanted to be me. Everybody wanted to have that product, wanted to make that. Well, we can do that ourselves. And the ones that weren't protected, those are the ones that people really tried to knock off. I even went to a trade show one time, saw literature on a table that even looked like my literature. Not just copying the product, but copying my sell sheet. Which was, in a small way, I was sort of flattered, but, I'm thinking, okay, what are they doing copying little old me? But they were. It was like, who are these guys? We're seeing them everywhere. So when you're on Kickstarter and you're doing well on Kickstarter, yeah, the copycats come out of the woodwork. And I've seen it happen. But once you start making money, then that's one of the things you want to do is have some IP in place. And when I say IP, I'm saying you have a provisional patent filed. You're able to stamp patent pending on everything. That is your scary boy dog sign that keeps people out saying, nope, this is protected and you can run into some real trouble if you try to copy this. This is patent pending. So you put that on everything. Another option you might have is patent insurance. And now, patent insurance costs some money. And so you really don't want to flip that switch until you know you're making money, until you know that revenue's coming in. But once you do, then you might want to look at that. You want to have that in place, get that priced out. We've got resources for that. Some really good insurance agencies that actually can help you with that. So, but again, don't spend a ton of money on a patent or patent insurance until you know the money's going in. Have it all ready. Get ready to hit that go button on it, but wait first. Now, another one, the third thing is your video is vital. I cannot stress this enough. I've seen Kickstarters fall flat because they didn't have a video, and that's almost unheard of these days, I think. I don't think I even see many that don't have a video because everybody knows you have to have a video. That's what people watch. They go to the Kickstarter campaign, oh yeah, let's watch this one. It's kind of like a YouTube video. Everybody's wanting to watch these Kickstarter videos. But when you're doing it, you got to keep the perspective of the person buying it. It's very, very important because it's not all about you. It's about them. It's just like any other place that you're selling. It's the same thing. The perspective of the person buying it. It is about them. My friend Scotty Hind, QVC pitchman, he says you've got to address one thing and one thing only when you're doing a pitch. One thing when you're presenting a product. What does it do? What does it do for me from the perspective of the customer? So the video is vital. And in the video, have a wow moment. If you've not watched any Billy Mays infomercials, get on YouTube and watch some because every one of his, a lot of the infomercials out there, they all pretty much have a wow moment. Well, I talk about this in one of my other videos. You look up the one that says wow moment because we actually talk about that in depth. Have a wow moment. Have that thing where it'll do this for this. This is amazing. Look what it does. It does this thing, and just, it's something absurd. It's like, okay, you know, you're supposed to hold two pieces of cloth together, but we're pulling a tractor trailer with it. Now, it doesn't have to be that huge and absurd, but just have some kind of wow moment. And the wow moment, again, check the video out. We give you a lot of details on that. Now, here's important. You have to keep it interesting. If it's not interesting, guess what? They'll lose interest. And if they lose interest, they're going to wander off. If they wander off your video before finishing it, they're going to wander away from your Kickstarter, and they're not going to buy, and they're not going to be a backer, and you're going to fail. So don't do that. Make it interesting. Make it engaging for this person. So the video is vital. Fourth thing, and these actually get a little more important, have a great demo type. And you know, we've talked in the past a lot about the difference between the prototypes. So you have the Franken-type, where you've snuck out to the graveyard of broken products and spare parts, you've used glue sticks and duct tape, and you've proven to yourself and yourself alone, yes, this works, I can make it works really good. Now that I'm doing it like this, you hadn't spent a lot of money figuring that out, and then you move on to that demo type. Now, the demo type for the Kickstarter has to be really, really pretty. It has to look like what they would buy in the store. And so have your demo type, have a really pretty, really functional, and you've got to have it all together, and don't cut corners on this. Now, I'm not saying cut corners as in spend a ton of money. You can still do this on the cheap if you're smart and if you're savvy about it. We have whole other videos and classes on that. But you have to make sure it works really, really well for demonstration. Don't be faking stuff, and Kickstarter even has rules about this, about don't fake things on the video. Don't use what do they call them? The computer illustration, which, you know, you can use, but you have to show that it really, really does work, and that's important. And I'll tell you why that's important, because the next very important point, number 5, is manufacturing prep is got to be in the bag. You've got to have that already figured out. Now, you don't have to have manufactured them. That's the whole idea behind Kickstarter, is that you are getting pre-orders and you're saying, yes, I can do this. Let me prove to you that I can do this. Let me show you the ways that I've already figured out how I can do this. And then under promise and over deliver. You know, you want to promise them with some really wow things, but you want to be able to deliver that and more on time and correctly and exactly what they're expecting. If you do that, if you don't do that, you're going to lose your customers, and it's going to become a crash and burn, nasty, bad story. And there's a very well-known one out there in the Kickstarter world of the product called the Nano Drone. If you've not seen it, look it up. All you have to do is Google it, and you can see all the just awful stories about it. These guys, they promised everything, including it makes toast, on this tiny little drone that they were going to put together, and they were just showing it, and the video was beautiful, and well, they raised millions of dollars on Kickstarter. And they did that, and guess what? They didn't do any of their manufacturing prep. They had not figured it out. They weren't able to just push a button and say, we've got all this figured out, we've got all this done. They didn't count the cost first, and they ended up, nobody got their product, nobody got their money back. It ended very badly. So don't be like the Nano Drone. Count the cost first. Figure out what it's going to cost you, what you're going to sell it for. It's just like when we teach when you're going to the marketplace in any other way. Kickstarter is no different. You have to count the cost. Now, get 3 quotes for everything. I know you've heard me say this before. It's just as true here as anywhere else. Have your main place that, okay, these people are going to make this, or this people are going to make this part. We're going to get this part from over here. We're going to have it assembled over here. We're going to have it packaged. We've got here's the cost for the labels. You got all that figured out, and you get 2 backups. So you have that already cooked. You have that ready to go. and then you launch your Kickstarter. Because if you don't, if you go, okay, oh look, we got our Kickstarter, we got our funding goal. And with Kickstarter you have to set a goal. You say, okay, if we raise $50,000, if we raise $10,000, then we'll get our money. If we don't raise that much, it's an all or nothing proposition. So, which is good in a way, because if you don't, you set that amount on the amount you know you need in order to make this. And still, if it's too high, then maybe it's not a good Kickstarter. But in any case, at any rate, you just want to be sure you've got everything together so you can deliver, and you can deliver on time. Very, very important. Because if you don't do that, you can have a successful Kickstarter that turns out to be the most ruinous thing you've ever done. So I hope these are helpful for you. Those are 5 must-haves before you do a Kickstarter campaign. There's more information. We've got some classes on this, on how to do pitches and how to do Kickstarters. So check us out. It's empoweredinventing.com. You can learn more about it, learn more about our organization, kyinventors.org. And be sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. Help us build our tribe. Anyway, I'm Don Skaggs. This is Empowered Inventing TV, and I will look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, maybe one of our online classes, or on the next video.